Hey everyone, welcome to the channel Infinity Math. In today's video, let's learn most useful percentage shortcuts and tricks. Let's see how we calculate percentages instantly. These quick percentage tricks will help you calculate like a pro faster than a calculator. The first trick we are learning today is how do we find 10% instantly? Finding 10% of any number. Example, let's see what is 10% of a number 250. To find 10% of this number, the trick here is move the decimal one place left. So we move the decimal one place to the left, you get 25.0. So which would be 25. So we are just moving the decimal point one place left. Another examples, let's see what is 10% of 391. To find this, again, we move the decimal one place left, which would be 39.1. So the answer is 39.1. Alright. Again, finding 10%, how do you do that? We move the decimal one place left. That's the trick for finding 10% of any number. Now let's learn the other trick. The other one gonna be finding 5%. Finding 5% of any number. Let's take an example. 5% of, say we are finding 5% of 300. So what is the answer? To find this, the trick here is take 10% and divide by 2. So what we do here, so we take 10% of the number, and then you divide by 2. Take 10% and you divide by 2. So that's going to be the trick here. So you know what is 10% of a number? You have seen that 10% of a number, just move a decimal one place to the left. So you get 30.0, just write 30. And now you're going to divide by 2. So take 10%, divide by 2. So the answer is 15. So 30 divided by 2 is 15. So 5% of 300, that's going to be 15. Let's do another example. Let's see what is 5% of 484. Let's use the same technique here. That is, take 10% first. Taking 10%, you move the decimal one place left. And now divide by 2. You divide this by 2, which would be 24.2. So the answer is 5% of 484 is 24.2. So that's the shortcut or trick for 5%. Alright. Now let's learn the next one. The next trick gonna be finding 1%. How do we find 1% of any number? For example, let's take what is 1% of a number 450. So to find 1% of any number, the trick here is move the decimal two places left. We move the decimal two places left. We have seen the technique for 10%. For 10%, we are moving one place to the left, but here we are moving two places to the left, which would be here 4.50. Or you can just say the answer is 4.5. So 1% of 450 is 4.5. Let's take another example. Say what is 1% of 2592? What is 1% of 2592? To find this, again the same thing. You just move the decimal 2 places left, which is 25.92. So the decimal moves 2 places to the left. So the answer is 25.92. So that's the shortcut for finding 1%. Now let's learn the other one. Let's see what is the other trick. The next trick gonna be finding 25% of any number. Let's see how do you find 25% of any number. So what is the trick or shortcut for this? For example, say we are finding 25% of, let's take an example, 25% of 800. So what is the answer? So the trick here gonna be just divide by 4. That's the trick. So to find 25% of any number, the trick is divide by 4. Now you take this number, divide by 4. You know 800 divided by 4, that's going to be 200, right? So the answer is 200. 25% of 800 is 200. Let's take another example. Say we are finding 25% of, say, a 4-digit number. Example, we take 4816. So what is the 25% of this 4-digit number? Same thing, you just have to divide this number by 4. When you divide this number by 4, 4 ones 4, 4 twos 8, and then 0. 4 times 4 is 16. So the answer going to be 1204. So 25% of 4816 is 1204. Alright, let's see the next trick. Okay, the next trick is finding 50%. Let's see how we calculate 50% of any number. Example, let's say what is 50% of 80? So what is 50% of the number 80? So to find 50% of any number, the trick gonna be here, just divide by 2. So that's the trick, divide by 2. You take the number and just divide that number by 2. So 80 divided by 2 gonna be 40. So the answer is 40. Say, well, let's take another example. Say, what is 50% of the number, say, 472? Again, the same thing. Just divide by 2. That's gonna be trick here. So when you divide 472 by 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, and then 2 times 6 is 12. So that's going to be 236. So that's the trick or shortcut for finding 50% of any number. Let's see the other shortcuts. The next one is finding 75% of any number. So let's see how do we find 75% of any number. So let's see the example question. Let's see what is 75% of, say we take 400. So what is 75% of the number 400? Let's calculate this. To find this, the trick here is first you find 50%, find 50%, then you add 25%. So you need to do both here. So find 50% and then you add 25%. How do you find 50%? You just have seen the trick. Finding 50% is, yes, just divide by 2. So 400. So first let's find what is the 50% of, let's find what is 50% of 400. So just divide by 2. That's going to be 200, right? And now next is find 25%. So what is 25% of the number 400. So 25% is just divide by 4. So 400 divided by 4, that's going to be 100. Correct? And now you're going to add both of this. So 200 plus 100, that's going to be 300. So the answer is 300. That's the final answer. So 75% of 400 is 300. So the trick here is first find 50% and then add 25%. Alright, so now let's see the next trick. The next trick is going to be finding 15%. Let's see, how do you find 15% of any number? For example, let's take an example question. What is 15% of, say we are finding 15% of 200. So what is the answer for this question? So to find 15%, the trick here is first find 10% and then find 5% and add both. So 10 plus 5. Remember, what is the trick for 10%? Yes, to find 10% of a number, you move the decimal one place left, right? So let's see, 10%. What is 10% of 200? That's going to be 20. We are moving decimal one place left. Then what is 5%? So you know the 5%, the trick going to be to find 5% of a number, you do what? Take 10%, divide by 2. Right? So you take 10% and then divide by 2. So what is 10%? What is 10% of a number? So you move the decimal one place left, which is 20, right? And then you divide by 2. 20 divided by 2, that's going to be 10. Alright, so 5% is, we do what? We do 10% of the number and then divide by 2. So 10% of 200 and then divide by 2, so you get 10. And now you're going to add this both. So 20 plus 10, that's going to be 30. So the final answer is going to be 30. So 15% of 200 is 30. So this is the finding 15% trick. Which percentage trick was your favorite? Comment the one you use the most. Thanks for watching. If you found these math tricks helpful, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, and of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss more fun and easy math tricks. See you in the next video.